Everyone looked down on Joseph due to his unusual appearance. They urged him to stay indoors, claiming that his presence gave them nightmares. His neighbors insisted that he would never find love. However, everything changed when Joseph met a stunning girl named Vanya, and what unfolded next is sure to move you to tears. "What on earth is this?" one nurse exclaimed upon seeing the baby. News of Joseph's unusual appearance spread quickly, with many in the community claiming he was somehow related to Bigfoot or the Yeti. However, nothing could be further from the truth. Joseph was born with a rare medical condition known as otofacial syndrome, a congenital deformity that leaves a person without a mandible and consequently without a chin. This condition brings complications that no one would wish on their worst enemy, and sadly, it is something Joseph must endure for the rest of his life. Fortunately, his world began to change for the better when he met the love of his life, Vanya. Yet, the hardships Joseph faced before meeting her would break even the strongest of hearts. His condition rendered him unable to speak, breathe properly, or eat. Doctors inserted a tracheostomy tube to assist his breathing, and he relies on a feeding tube in his stomach, meaning Joseph has never tasted food or water. Heartbreaking, isn't it? But that pales in comparison to the cruel treatment he received from others, starting with his father. The moment Joseph's dad laid eyes on him, he rejected him outright. He left Joseph's mother, moved out, and was never seen again. Just days after Joseph's birth, he was taken to a hospital in Illinois for bone and skin graft surgery. But unfortunately, the procedure failed. Things got worse from this point onward, and Joseph became a subject of constant bullying. Strangers took to their heels whenever they saw him. Poor Joseph wanted to go to school like every other kid, but most schools rejected him, claiming he would scare the other kids away. Speaking of one of his traumatic childhood experiences, Joseph said, "We had no mirrors in our house because my mom didn't want me to see myself in them. But one day, I found a mirror in her bag. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I screamed. I had goosebumps all over my body for days. I was haunted, and I couldn't sleep. I asked my mom where God lived so I could visit him and ask for another face. I also thought maybe it would be best to live with God since he wouldn't mock me." When Joseph turned 6, his mother gave up on him and put him up for adoption. "I used to hold my mom's hand every night and beg her not to leave me. I would always tell her, 'I can't survive without you,' but she left me. I felt very lonely and scared," Joseph wrote in one of his interviews. Fortunately for him, Joseph's adoptive family was very kind and loving. They taught him how to communicate through sign language, but despite this, growing up was still tough for him. Joseph's neighbors, relatives, strangers, and classmates made life unbearable for him. Joseph's classmates pulled a painful prank on him that affected his self-esteem, and he contemplated taking his life after the incident. His classmates set up a girl named Jade to woo him and get him to fall in love with her so she could break his heart and humiliate him. What a cruel joke to play on someone. During the time when Joseph and Jade were friends, he was as happy as a poor man who stumbled upon a bag of gold. Jade played her role well. She would often hold Joseph's hand in class and tell her classmates that Joseph was the most handsome man she had ever seen. She openly declared her love for him and sent him sweet texts in the morning and at night. Although Jade was expressive, Joseph wasn't. He was scared of getting hurt, so he tried to be careful. But Jade continued leading him on until he became vulnerable and eventually let her into his heart. One day, Joseph sent her a text message. "These past few months have been beautiful, all because of your friendship. Each night, I sleep with a big smile on my face. Thank you for seeing through me, Jade. At first, I was scared of opening up my heart to you. I am very happy, Jade. With love, Joseph." The next day, when Joseph got to school, he was shocked to see cardboard pasted all over the walls. Written boldly on the cardboards was the message he had sent to Jade the previous night. Joseph's classmates mocked him and told him that his relationship with Jade was a setup. They claimed they did that just to find out if he had a heart or not. "So you have a heart, so you are capable of loving. We thought aliens don't love. Doesn't that mean you're human?" They laughed. After this harsh treatment, Joseph vowed not to let anyone into his heart again. But that was until he met Vanya. Before then, his self-esteem had suffered a great deal, but his adoptive mother stood by his side. She constantly assured him of her love and encouraged him to believe in himself and rise above his limitations. Despite this support, Joseph was still insecure about himself until one life-changing encounter. When Joseph turned 30, He watched an inspiring video about Nicholas James Vujicic, an Australian-American Christian evangelist and motivational speaker who, despite being born without arms and legs, is living his dreams. After watching Nick and reading about the great heights he attained despite his disability, Joseph told himself that he would no longer hide from the world. Ready to redefine himself, Joseph learned welding, and after a few years, he became an expert. His parents opened a small workshop for him, and as fate would have it, Joseph met Vanya, the love of his life, at this workshop. One day in 2019, Vanya came for some repairs at the workshop, and she chatted with Joseph as if she had known him for a long time. She knew sign language and cracked many jokes that made him laugh until his ribs hurt. As they communicated through sign language, they stared into each other's eyes and smiled like teenagers in love. The connection was instant and unexplainable. As Vanya was leaving, she flashed a warm smile at Joseph and told him to take care. While watching her walk away, Joseph's heart pounded mercilessly. He felt very nervous and excited at the same time. He loved the way he felt around her. For once, he wasn't ashamed of his looks. He was so glad that she understood sign language. Joseph spent the rest of the evening thinking about Vanya, wondering if he would ever see her again. And guess what? He did. The next weekend, Vanya visited his workshop. After they chatted for a while, she asked if she could feed him through his tube. Joseph agreed, and she fed him, smiling like a girl reading a love letter. When I saw him, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh wow, he has beautiful eyes, and he looks like a gentle soul. I instantly felt like I wanted him to be a big part of my life. He looked sad, and I told myself that I would be the reason behind his happiness, Vanya explained. The two got closer, and they started dating. Vanya protected Joseph as if her life depended on it, and he did the same. They loved each other passionately and had a lot of fun, ranging from quiet moments at the beach to full-on adventures and so much more. Every moment seemed extraordinary. Everyone was taken aback when they discovered Vanya and Joseph's relationship. They found it hard to believe that someone as beautiful as Vanya would choose to date Joseph, whom they often refer to as alien-looking. She's just using him to fulfill her twisted fantasies, and she'll leave him soon. No one could ever love that ugly thing, they mocked. However, those same people would soon regret their words. In 2020, to everyone's astonishment, Joseph married Vanya. It was one of the happiest days of my life. When I placed the ring on her finger, she burst into tears and held me tightly. She said, "Joseph, my heart is bursting with joy. We adore each other, and nothing will change that," Joseph recalled. Initially, no one believed this couple's marriage would last a month, but 3 years later, their bond continues to flourish. The naysayers finally realize that the love they share is boundless, fearless, and unstoppable. Those who once mocked them now look up to them. They went from being the laughingstock of the community to earning deep respect. Whenever we see them together, it serves as a reminder of the power and beauty of love. No one is perfect, and we should never have judged Joseph based on his appearance. "We regret everything we did to him," said one of Joseph's neighbors. With Vanya by his side, Joseph vows never to let his physical limitations prevent him from living life to the fullest. It's a testament to the fact that it doesn't matter how you look, there is someone out there who will love you wholeheartedly. So please, don't give up on love. What do you think of Joseph's story? Let us know in the comment section. Thank you.